Hey guys, so I was watching this. It's a YouTube poop of Spider-Man. It's Peter Parker and the Lord of the Suit, and it got to this part. A bit of a crossover: Lord of the Rings and Spider-Man, and that kind of raised the question: how well would Spider-Man do in Middle Earth? People love crossovers. People say, what would happen if you threw Goku and Vegeta into the Marvel universe or the DC universe, or how would Naruto fare against being in the DBZ universe, and stuff like that. And so it got me thinking, how would Spider-Man fare in Middle Earth, the land of gods and you know dragons and like wizards? How would he fare? Well, right here alone. So Spider-Man's abilities. He's able to spin webs, like a spider. He can use them to either tie people up, or he can make a web to ensnare them. He can swing on them. So he's pretty good long distance. He's also incredibly strong. He can lift up to, was it like 12, 12 tons? Like 12.5 tons, and a ton is 2,000 pounds. So he's lifting a lot. Extreme circumstances, apparently, he can sometimes lift like 100. So it really depends. Also, we're talking about this Peter Parker, comic book Peter Parker, a bit more crazy when it comes to feats. But so how would this Peter Parker, the movie Peter Parker, fare against, right here, say, against the Urukai? He would fucking demolish them. Not only is he able to, from long distance, he can create webs that are pretty strong. Not to mention, like I said, he can lift 12.5 tons, so he can start tearing pieces of walls out and just fucking chucking them, and destroying this fucking army. Meanwhile, you still got everyone else. You've got Aragorn and all of them still fighting, but say he just got plopped into it. This guy is a one-man fucking army. He alone can just annihilate all of them. Now, when it comes to, like, say, Sauron or Sauron, maybe not so much, being that they're essentially angels. They're Maiar, they're immortal. Saruman is extremely powerful, and Sauron, he's even more powerful. So I don't think Peter Parker would do very good against those type of foes. But if you have the Urukai, or hell, I think even dragons, he could probably take down. He's faster, he's strong. In Middle Earth, dragons are all shapes and sizes. They've shown them to be, like Smaug was relatively medium-sized-ish, and then you have dragons who were 1,000 times larger than him. But then you have someone like, say, the Balrog, which I don't think webs would do very well against, because the dude's made of fire. So I don't think the Balrog would have any trouble. Peter may be able to get close enough to, physically take it out. Like I said, this dude can fucking just long distance that shit. One good punch, knock him down, and just fucking throw rubble on him and finish him off that way. But as for goblins and orcs and the Urukai, which are stronger, basically more enhanced versions, yeah, he would absolutely demolish them. He's faster, smarter, more agile. He can, unlike them, he can jump fucking high. He can swing through and just like clothesline the fuck out of them. Like I said, while everyone else is shooting arrows, he can fucking rip wall pieces out and throw them. He can ensnare them in his webs. I mean, he has so many fucking ways of beating these guys. So, like I said, people like Saruman or Sauron, you know, they're Maiar. They're you can't really. He's not gonna be. He may be physically stronger, but against their magic, he's not gonna be able to fare very well. Now maybe working together with Gandalf, if Gandalf was in that fight, then yeah, I think he has a pretty good chance. You know, two people against, say, Saruman or Sauron. You've got the physical prowess of Peter, and then the magical prowess of Gandalf. So I think combined, they would still have a pretty good chance. But I mean, you see how strong Sauron is. He just, you know, one, and then people are flying backwards. So it's hard to say because this scenario would never happen. It's just fun to think about, and all from a YouTube poop. Imagine that. But like I said, as for, you know, Helm's Deep, if he was there, he would absolutely annihilate. I don't think they would lose as many people as they did in the movie. So all those important figures most likely wouldn't die because Peter would be there and he just, you know, he could probably make a web strong enough that even the Uruk-hai couldn't snap their way out of it. And even if he couldn't make a web that strong, he can at least ensnare them long enough for them to have another plane of attack. So while he's done doing his web thing, and they're all like, you know, they can start either loading up, you know, the, you know, catapults, or he can start just tearing pieces of rocks out and throwing that shit. Or if there's mountains around it, he can just, you know, can clothesline them, just go through. Because I don't think their swords and anything would really do much. He's gone through a lot worse. So I don't think their swords or their strength would really do much. In order to hurt him, you'd have to put out even more force than he does. And the Uruk-hai just can't do that. They can't. I mean, I think even if every single one of them stabbed him at the same time, I don't think it would do make any bit of a difference. In order to take him down, you'd have to be stronger than him. So I don't think, you know, that would be possible. Now, obviously, the entire army is not going to be able to stab him at the same time. But, you know, so I mean, like, they can launch catapults and bury him in rubble, but he's just poof, bust right out of it. He's been shocked. He's been stabbed. He's gone through a lot, and he gets right back up. So I don't think the Uruk-hai would be able to take him out. So Peter Parker in Middle-earth against regular enemies, and possibly with help from others, like I said, you know, Gandalf and Peter against like someone like Saruman or Sauron. You know, because Sauron, as powerful as he is, he's still a Maiar, just like Gandalf. But that's depending on whether he has the ring or not, because if he has the ring, he just becomes even more powerful. But if he was able to take some kind of physical form, like some kind of avatar, you know, to where he gained enough energy to have a physical form again, but he didn't have the ring, yeah, I think Peter and, say, Gandalf would be more than enough. If he had the ring, might be a little more difficult. But like I said, Gandalf and Sauron are both Maiar, so you would think they're somewhat at the same level, which they kind of are, they're kind of not. But but yeah, Peter Parker would do perfectly fine against normal things, goblins, orcs, Urukai, trolls. I mean, if he was in in the Mines of Moria with them, he could have one-shotted that fuck. He would have. I mean, he could have easily just punched a hole through that thing's fucking stomach. So Frodo never would have gotten stabbed and stuff like that. So, like I said, Balrog, he might have a difficult time taking down if he planned and thought out well enough, like using stuff around him rather than face, hand-to-hand combat. I'm pretty sure he would be able to pull out a win. But even dragons, like I said, I think he could. Like I said, if he was smart enough, he could probably take down a dragon. I mean, I understand it was a special arrow, but I mean, a little tiny arrow took down Smaug, so I'm pretty sure the arrow can't lift 12 tons or close to 100 tons, which I wonder how much Smaug weighs. Hang on. So I was trying to find how much Smaug would actually weigh. Apparently, canonically, he's like 18 meters long, which is pretty big. But someone kind of put it to scale against with the other dragons. So we have Smaug right here, fairly small. And Scatha, who is a little bit bigger. Fire Drake of Gondolin. These are almost about the same. And then Glaurung, not a flying type dragon, but still a big baby. And then we have this fucking behemoth right here who just, when he was slain, he fell and hit 3 mountaintops. That's how big this fucking dude was. And not only hit 3 mountaintops, he destroyed these 3 mountaintops when he fell out of the sky. So you can tell his wingspan is huge. It's huge. Now, something like this, I don't think Peter would stand a chance against. Different, and Smaug doesn't really. He's a dragon, but he's a Wyvern, which is a different kind of dragon. But yeah, so just to give some kind of scale, basically in The Hobbit, in the movies. Basically, that what we see Smaug as, that's pretty much what his size is. He's big, but as you can see, they're so much bigger than him. Like I said, this dude, when he was slain, he fell and destroyed 3 mountaintops. That's how big he was. So, I'm still trying to find out how much he weighs. 18 meters, and I mean, he's a dragon, so he's pretty muscular, So, hang on, I'm going to keep looking because I'm kind of curious. Okay, so I couldn't find anything. I put in how much does Smaug weigh, how much, Lord of the Rings, Smaug's weight. I find the weight of how much gold he has, but no actual weight. They have a measurement of how big he is, but just no weight. So, but yeah, you saw from that little chart, not chart, but that picture, that there are dragons in Middle Earth who are much, much larger than Smaug. So could Peter face him if he had an area he could possibly work with? I wouldn't leave it past Peter to be able to tear his scales off. Instead of, fighting, hand to hand or hand to dragon, I don't think it would be very hard for Peter to just rip Smaug's scales off one by one to open up a weak point and just you know, or stab something there. Like I said, he's faster, he's smart. Oh, I wouldn't say smarter. He might be. I mean, Smaug is kind of easily fooled, but yeah, I think given the right area, he might be able to take him down. Now, when it comes to the other dragons, probably not. You know, Smaug is the smallest. But if he can take down a dragon, you know, I mean, hell, think about the Warg Riders. You know, they're coming at him, he just poof, slam them together. Because weight-wise, that'd be nothing for him. So, yeah. Anyways, it's just something stupid I was thinking about when I was watching this. But it makes me think, you know, what about you guys? What if we threw, you know, who would you like to see thrown into Middle-earth? How do you think someone like Batman would do? Or, I mean, we don't have to say, we can't say people like Goku, Vegeta, or even Naruto. Even Naruto would fucking manhandle fucking mostly everyone. By the end of Shippuden, Naruto is godlike levels, so he could take down all the fucking dragons at one time. So even Naruto could annihilate half of Middle-earth. But yeah, what about Batman? You know, do you think Batman would fare well in Middle-earth? Or who else? You don't want to throw in anyone super strong. But I mean, Batman could go against Superman, who is god levels, depending on which Superman you're talking about. So if he can fight Superman, I'm pretty sure he can find a way to take down a fucking dragon, or, you know, the army. That's nothing. He does that shit all the fucking time. But yeah, what superhero, what character would you like to see thrown into Middle-earth, and how do you think they would fare? Let me know. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.